Hello and welcome back. My name is Mohidon Bark, and in today's video I'm going to show you how we can use a Retrofit library to connect our applications to internet. Our applications these days, they base too much on internet, and we need internet connection and internet data to communicate to internet, sending and receiving data with internet. For our application to make sense, almost 80% of application, they need connection with internet because they need to exchange information. So you find it a little bit hectic to connect to internet. So I've got one library for you that we're going to look at today, which is called Retrofit, and I'm going to show you how we can implement it to send and receive data on internet using our applications. So I hope you're ready to learn with me the Retrofit library. If you are, then let's get started. So the first thing to do is to download or template to install Retrofit in our application, whereby we'll just simply come to, I've created a very empty application here. It's just an empty application and there is nothing there. Okay, just see there is hello world. Sorry, somebody called me. So I was saying that I just created an empty application. As you can see, even the word hello world is still there. It is totally plain empty application. So I should also do so, create an empty application. So let us go to our Gradle and then click on what? Gradle module here, the Gradle module. And in here we're going to put a what? A Retrofit what? Retrofit implementation. So you just simply come to internet and search Retrofit. Okay, search Retrofit, and then you'll be able to see the Retrofit here, the implementation. Just come here and scroll where there is Gradle and see the implementation. So I'll come and copy and paste it here. Now here there's the word insert the latest version. So as I record right now, the latest version is, let me see, the latest version is what? 2.4.0. So I'll delete this word and put 2.4.0. That's the latest version as per now. So as the time you watch this video, look for the latest version and use that version. Okay, so I can put here HTTP connection. That's just a comment. Okay, so after I have to sync my application by simply clicking on sync now. Okay, so I'll click on sync now and to sync the application. So with application done, with implementation done, then we're going to go ahead and do what? And request internet connection from where? From the manifest. So I click on manifest, and then you're going to paste this line. I'll show you this line, the permission for internet. Okay, so copy it and put it here. It should be inside before the word application, okay, before the tag of application. So I put the request for the internet. Otherwise, if you don't have the request for the internet, then the application will not work. So that's how we install Retrofit in application. So let's go ahead and do what? And start working with Retrofit. So I'll come to application here and split it, and then I'll change this one to linear layout, or I'll change it to what? To scroll, nested scroll. Linear layout. Linear layout will be enough. Linear layout, and I'll come here and put orientation as what? As vertical. So after doing that, let me come and delete this. Let us add there some buttons. Just put here some margin. Okay, let's add some buttons. And then we're going to put here maybe width match parent, and height wrap content, and text size as maybe 20 dp, and then text as what? As introduction. So in this introduction, and then you give some margin of maybe 20 dp or 10 dp. Okay, 20 dp, no problem. Okay, just give it 15 dp. Okay, so in this introduction, give some padding. of 10 dp. Okay, that's it, that's enough. Okay, so in this introduction is where we're going to put the very basic introduction, or the very basic way how we can use retrofit. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add the click listener on click. So I'll just put on click. Okay, and here on the click I'm going to call a method. Okay, I'm going to call a method that should be open when someone clicks here. So I'm going to put here open introduction, open introduction. Of course, you know this method is not created yet. Now I have to create it. So to create it, just simply move your cursor up to the word open introduction, press alt and hold it and press enter, and then click on move down here where there is word create this method, okay, in the main activity. Then I'll go ahead and create it. So our method has been created. So if someone clicks here, it will click here open introduction. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put an activity. I'm going to call it introduction. So I'll simply come to new. I'm going to come here activity. I'm going to call it empty activity, and I'm going to call it introduction. Introduction. Oh, let me just remove everything. Here where there's that activity, I'll remove that main and call it introduction. Okay, and then say okay. So I want when someone clicks on this open introduction, it should open that introduction. So let's go ahead and start the intent. So it's simply say intent I equals new intent, and I'll pass the context, which is this, and I pass the activity that I want to open dot what dot class. Okay, so that's it. So after doing that, then we're going to go ahead and start the activity. So just please say start activity, and then you pass the intent. Okay, that's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the logic of opening retrofit from what from this introduction activity. So I'll press Ctrl and click on introduction activity, and it will open here. So this is a simple introduction activity, and this is its layout. Okay, this is its layout. So I'm going to split its layout and put there just a simple text view, just a simple text view. I'm going to match its width, match parent, and its href content, and I'm going to give it some size of 20 dp, or maybe make it 25, no problem. And I'm going to give it an ID of data, and I'm going to give it let me give it an ID of what text view, and I'm going to give some margin of 10 dp. Okay, and I close it. So that's a simple thing that we've just done. I hope you can see it, right? So why is it like this? Let me change this constraint layout to linear layout and give it orientation vertical. Okay, we're good to go. So let me go and copy this text view and go and create for each variable in the introduction here. So I'm going to say here this is the text view, and I'm going to put here get data here. So when this activity will open, I'm going to connect to internet and try to get data from internet. So I simply say get data, or I can say get online data. It's a method. I'm just creating it in my own method. So I press alt and enter to create this method. So create this method, there it is. Okay, so in this getting data, first of all, before I get the data, I have to initialize this text view, which is got a find view by id add.id dot that. Okay, so this text view will just use it just to display our data that we've just got from internet. Okay, so you're good to go there. Now what we're going to do, now we're going to connect to internet and try to fetch data from internet. So in this place you're going to create it. Now we're going to get the data. So we're going to get the data in in different steps. There are things that you have to follow first. The first thing is to just create the retrofit object like this. You just simply write retrofit and then you give it a name. Okay, so give this this client a name. So I've called it retrofit. You can call it anything. Is equal to new retrofit builder. So you're going to have the builder there on top. Okay, then after you put dot base URL. Let me just do it as you're seeing. Just write like this, retrofit, and then do like this, equals new, and then write retrofit dot build. Capital letter dot builder like that. Okay, and then after calling the builder, sorry, this is not a method, it's just a class. Then after calling the builder, then you put the base URL. So the base URL is the base website that you want to access. Okay, for example, I've put this gonefast.com. Okay, I have another website that I can access here, which is my own Eugene24 here. Okay, so this is my own website, and what I'm going to do, for example, want to access this and I see that want to access this data here of this. Okay, want to access this data about COVID-19. Okay, so we're going to access this link, so we have to break these links into two, whereby we're going to get the base URL here, which is this one. So you copy it, the first part of the link, you put it here in the base URL. Okay, here you say dot what, dot base URL. So in this base URL you put there the link. After putting the link, then the next thing is put dot build. Okay, so by doing like that, then you'll have created the retrofit object. Okay, so if you see how I've called it, I've just called rate. So that's the step number one. Let me just put a comment, step one, using the builder. So after doing that, we're going to go ahead and create the interface. So the interface is the one that can make is a class that makes the retrofit relate the data that you want to connect from that you want to fetch from internet. So let's go ahead and create the interface for the retrofit that will be used to to connect the internet. So simply right click here on the main package, click on new, and then put Java class, and then select the interface. So I'll just simply put web interface. You can call it anything, but we will call it web interface. So by doing like that, we'll have a simple interface here. So this interface is how we're going to put the organized links that the retrofit will use, or the organized method that retrofit will use to connect to internet. So the next thing to do here, actually this base URL is not required right now. I can remove it. So the next thing to do here is to create a converter. A converter will help retrofit to convert the data that we get from internet onto our normal string values, or the object that we'll need. So since we need just a plain data right now, just plain simple data, it means that we'll need a write library that will work for us as just to convert data to string. So if you come here to retrofit itself, I've been searching about it. If you come here to retrofit itself, you see that here we have a converter for JSON and other types of data types that we may need, like XML and others. We may need to convert them. Okay, so this one is for the XML and etc. So if when we need to convert JSON, we'll come for this. Now right now I just want us to get a simple converter, like converting the string. So you see the one that is recommended here is called the scalars converter. Okay, you can come here and search it, scalars converter. Okay, so you can find it on GitHub here, the scalars converter, and how it is being how we can implement it. Okay, so for me right now, I'm just going to copy this and implement it in the project, which is the scalars converter and the latest version. So it will help us to convert the data from internet into the plain string. So we come here to the project and we go to Gradle module. Our Gradle module, I already put it there, which is here, scalars converter. So I'm going to uncomment it, which is here. Can you see? Just the same as it is here on GitHub. here on GitHub. Can you see exactly the way it is? There is just how I've put it here. I've only added the version. So that's what you should do. So let me call this one converter 2. So this one is for the JSON. We will use it later. For now, we just need to use plain content. Assume that you want to download an image, you want to download anything. So we're going to use this one to get that data from internet and convert it to a normal into a normal string. So after putting this colors converter, pause the video and look at it, and then I will sync the project. So the project will sync. After syncing the project, then I'll go ahead and add the colors convert in our project in our retrofit object. Where is it? It is here. Okay. So in this builder, I'm going to add the converter. So to add the converter, you simply come here under the builder and put add converter factory. Add converter factory and put scalars converter factory dot create. Okay, so this one is the one that will enable this retrofit to do what? To fetch the data from internet and convert it into normal string. Okay, so after doing this, then we're going to go ahead and create the second step. I can just put it like this comment. Step 2. So step 2 is now to create a call that is going to where we're going to put our string, and this string will be fetched from internet, and we convert it in a string. A string is going to be like a link, or the link, and from that link is the one that will convert from internet and get its data. That's what we're going to do right now. So to do that, we shall just simply write. So sorry, before we create the call, you must first create the web interface. So the web interface is the one that will help this retrofit to do what? To organize its links, or to organize the structure of the data that comes. So just simply come here to a project, right click and say new. Java class, and say interface, and put web interface. You can call it anything that you want. So in this web interface, so I'm going to put the methods or the links that I'll be using to access to access links. So here I'm writing, just simply write, for example, at get. So it means that here it's going to use get method, and then you put call, and then you open here, and then you put a string that the type of the data that we're expecting. For example, we see that we're expecting it just a plain string, like the way we said before. So we put here the link, or the name that we'll use to do what, to access the URL. So I can say get string, or get data, or can just say get plain data. You can call it anything, and then here it will get any data, any kind of data in any kind of URL. So I just put at URL, and then you put string and put maybe URL. Okay, so this one will get any kind of URL from internet. Okay, and convert into that data into a string. So this is the web interface that we created. So let's go ahead and create this instead of this web interface into our activity. So I'll come here and say web interface. I can call it maybe interface. I can call it web interface is equal to new. Equals to retrofit, which is red.create, and then you pass the web interface itself, which is web interface.class. Okay, like this. So by doing like that, then it means that you've created now the interface that can now communicate with the internet. Okay, then step 3. Is it step 4? Step 3. Step 3. Here you create the call. Now the call is the link that you're going to access from the database. So you just simply write call and open like this, and then you put what you're expecting back. Of course, you're expecting back a string. So I just simply put string like this, and then we give this name a call. Okay, so I can call it maybe plain text, okay, equals, okay, I can call it plain text call, then equals, then we call, I mean, we use this web interface dot what dot get plain data. So this web interface, you know, this get data plain data is this interface that we did here, you know, you still remember here this interface. So it is expecting what? A string, and we say this string is going to be a link of where we're going. So I can check this one for my website, like you can see here, just too much, but I don't know whether it will work. Let us try. So we pass here the link that you want access to. So it can be dynamic link, can be anything. Okay, so this data will be converted into what? Into a string, and then we can use that string into do anything. So here, before it, now we're going to do what? To start calling, I mean, we're going to request for this data at this point. Okay, so I'll call it step 4. Okay, so but before step 4, I'm going to set our text to be loading. Okay, so I'm going to say text view dot set text, and I'm going to put the word loading. Okay, so it will be showing the word loading as it is what? As our project is loading. So to collect the data, just simply put the call, then you add dot enqueue, and then you put here the word new callback like that, and then press enter. Can you see? Let me repeat it so that you can see. You just simply put plain text dot enqueue, and then you put new, and then the word callback with capital letter, and then it will suggest itself, and then press enter. They'll do for you everything. You see, it's that simple. So those are the two things that will happen now. The first thing is now these are the two callbacks that will be called when it is done. So here it is success. In case it is successful, the response will come here, and in case it failed, the response will come here. So let me put here, let me set the text now, our text view. I'm going to set text. In case it fails, I'll just simply say failed because, and then here they'll give us the what? The throwback, which is plus t dot what dot get message. Okay, so there will get the message, or can add even dot get cause. Let me put here new line, and then plus t dot get cause. So that one will in case it fails, it will call this method that we've written here. So in case it's successful, I'll just simply say text data and say success, and then put a new line, and then put in maybe another new line, and then put the data itself, which the data that comes, it comes through this response. Okay, the data that comes, they send it to you through this response. So I put a response dot what dot get, response dot body. Okay, response dot body. So you have to check, of course, if it is not, if it is success. Sometimes it can fail. So if it fails, maybe like there's an error, there's a wrong link, so you can get the code here. Let me put here the code, and you see response dot what dot code. So you have to make sure that the code is what is 200 or 200. 200 is the code that is make sure that show that it is successful. But for now, I'll not check. I'll just go run the project. So our project is done with compiling, and that's how it looks like. Let me make the phone a little bit bigger so you can see clearly. Okay, so I'll click on introduction. Oh, there's some error. There's some error. Let's find out which error it could be. Okay, so I'll come here to the get cut. And I see what error it could be. So let us run it again. Here. and delete everything. Come here, click on introduction. Oh, there's some error there. Let's see what it could be. Activity java lang string base URL. Oh, base URL is not defined. Let's define base URL. It is a mask, I think. It's a mask. So I'll have to put here dot base URL, pass it there. Okay, it's a must. Let's run it again. Then click on introduction. You can see the word loading, so it is fetching the data at this point, and you can see the HTML data has been changed, that has been fetched. But because this data is how should I say it is HTML data, and I did not put a scroll view, that's why you can see we cannot scroll it, but it is that much data for the HTML. So that's how we fetch information from internet, but this can prove to you that we've got data from what? From internet. Otherwise, in the next video I'll show you now the whole thing. You can see the success code is 200. Now what if I disconnect the internet? Let me disconnect the internet and come back and click on introduction. So it is loading. It's going to take a minute maybe. You can even set the timeout. It's loading. Of course it can even crash because you see, failed because this bot was not found. Can you see? It took 1 minute. Was it a minute? Okay, 1,000 milliseconds to do what? And you can see the data is null. So that's how you can prove that there is nothing that came back. Okay, but because I removed the what? I removed the internet. For example, if you put the wrong URL, it can show you that was successful, but the response was not, I mean, was 404. Okay, so that's how we connect and collect data from what? From internet. So this is just a basic way. So you should be able to collect data, any kind of data from internet, and display it on your screen. Let me do the last thing. For example, which which data should I get? I don't want HTML data. Let me come here. Free JSON. The first is on my internet here. Oh, my internet is not coming on. Okay, but in simple terms, that's how we fetch data from internet. Just look at this piece of code. I know it can be confusing at the beginning, but it is very simple. It's very simple. So we're going to meet in the next video, where we're going to look at how we can get now structured data such as JSON and the rest. But at this point, you should be able at least to get any data from internet, like from any kind of a link, using the steps that I've shown you. You should be able to do what? To create this interface, okay, simple interface, and use it to do what? To get this plain data. Don't give up until you reach this point, please. Okay, if the video was helpful to you, please don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends, and subscribing to my YouTube channel if you haven't too. Okay, let's meet in the next video, where we're going to look at fetching structured data from what? From internet.